by the liberal agenda that they want to try to control everybody, and I'm sick of people falling for it. So all I'm going to do is try to tell everybody, look at it with some common sense. Look at it with a little bit of intelligence. Try to look at things and think of what they are, not as right or left, but look at it and say to yourself, is this right? In other words, if this person comes up and exercises their freedom of speech by slamming Christians or slamming whatever, and somebody who disagrees with them can't say that without getting ridiculed or getting chastised or getting blackballed from society, then is that equal? Or is their freedom? Is that right or wrong? See, I don't think people shouldn't have the right to say anything's wrong. I think everybody should have the right to say what they want to say. The problem is that's not happening too much anymore. And certain people, you can take Juan Williams. He is a black Democrat who's a little bit, not as radical liberal as a lot, but he's more on the liberal side. Worked for NPR. Gets fired for making some little simple comment about if he was on an airplane and saw somebody in full traditional Muslim garb, that he would be a little nervous. Any of you that say you wouldn't be is lying. And you're telling yourself deep down, yeah, I would be. He gets fired for that. Bill Maher can get on his program and be as blasphemous toward God as he can be because he hates Christians for some reason. And that's okay, apparently. He just keep his job, nobody cares. It's just Christians he's getting, it don't matter. But I challenge Bill Maher to this. If he thinks he's so bold, I want him to make that same rant and rave. But everywhere he says Christian or Christianity, substitute that with Islam or Muslim. And everywhere he says God, substitute that word with Allah. And see how long he lasts in. There you go. You know it. If anybody you look at know it, that I'm right, that it wouldn't fly. That's not right. I'm getting sick of this. The government is pushing their agenda down your throat. Some liberal agenda, they're basically trying to turn you into a social society. They're trying to take over, and a lot of you are letting them. You're sitting there drinking that water like them stupid little gazelles and wildebeest that come up on the water. And they want this water. That's all they care about. I'm thirsty, I want this water. And crocodiles start getting up closer, and then the big wildebeest, the wise wildebeest, got a little bit of sense about it and say, you know what, I'm thirsty too, but let me assess the situation here. What's going to happen if I do nothing but care about what I want right this second? And eventually you see what happens. Those that will blindly just go and not care about anything but themselves at the moment, they're on a fast track to become a crocodile poop at the bottom of a river. And that's just what happens. And that's what everybody just blindly follows, is what they're doing. You don't question anything. If you try to question Barack Obama, oh, you must be racist. What does him being black means that he's got to be right about everything? We can't disagree with him? If you disagree with any of his policies, you're racist? To me, that's trying to tell me that you think black people are perfect. Well, anybody's perfect that's not Obama. Now, screw it. He got stupid policies. He's running on more debt than George Bush ever thought about running. And gas is more than doubled in price since he's been in office. All the things that George Bush got run down for, he's more guilty of. But all of a sudden, he's okay and you can't say anything about it. That's bullcrap. They changed the language. Illegal aliens are now undocumented workers. Well, you know what? I'll start calling them undocumented workers when you start calling drug dealers unlicensed pharmacists. It's full of crap. They use the word homophobe. That's a bull crap word. That means fear of the same. Homo is a prefix meaning the same. Phobia is a fear. So it's either a man scared of men, a woman scared of women, or a person scared of people. But what they do is they come up with a word like homophobe that people do not want to be labeled as. And then that makes people scared to speak out in opposition. If a person's Christian, their belief is that homosexuality is a sin, and they've got every right to believe that. They've got every right for their freedom of religion and freedom of their beliefs. But because they don't fall in line, all of a sudden they're the ones that are called hateful. But there's more hate being directed at them. The president of Chick-fil-A or CEO, whatever, all he said was, according to my beliefs, I can't agree that they be married. He didn't say, I hate them, I hate them. Just I don't think they should be married. And he was the one whose businesses were trying to be boycott. People were vandalizing some of the Chick-fil-A's. I mean, they were directing hate at him when all he did was just express his belief he's got every right to have. Did not direct hate toward anyone. So, I'm getting sick and tired of this kind of a world where people are going out of their way to kiss the butts of some people or some groups of people or try to be in this politically correct thing, walk on eggshells around certain people trying to say things or not say things that might get them called a name. And there you go. That's why you have that people that are anti-gay don't mind being called anti-gay, but they don't want the tag homophobe stuck to them, so they just be quiet. I just don't want to say nothing. Now all of a sudden the voice of opposition gets quieter. But every time certain things go up for vote, look at the vast majority vote against something, and then they take it to court. Democracy all of a sudden, majority doesn't rule, which is what our country was founded. They're changing everything our country was founded on. Bottom line. And if you fall into it, you're just drinking the water. And before long, you're going to be snapped in there. You think you're going to be any better off when a new world order or whatever you want to call it takes over? You think when the country becomes socialist, that there's going to be, that you did agreed and helped get it that way? I have special privileges. You think you ain't going to be waiting in line with the rest of us to get your government cheese and your toilet paper? You know, you're full of crap. You're ignorant, you're naive, and stupid if you don't think any of that can happen. The bottom line is, you're aiding in the event if you don't really pay attention. When Obamacare was being pushed through and the Tea Party started showing up at town hall meetings and questioning their representatives, the representatives were telling them, you don't know what's in it. And when they said, yes we do, and would start reciting it, then all of a sudden they would go, you're Nazis, you're just Nazis, you're planted here by somebody, you're planted here by some corporate bigwig. First of all, no they weren't. Contrary to what those pompous, arrogant, pretentious, self-righteous pricks up in Washington, D.C. think, people down here in the real world can read for themselves and think for themselves, and they can speak up in opposition because we're still a free country. Bad as they're trying to take it away from us, we're still free. Problem is, they turn around and say, oh, you're a plant, you're Nazis. And the big problem is that everybody bought into that. Every liberal and all these Democrat and Obama supporters come over, yeah, they're just a bunch of Nazis. And you forgot the main point. First of all, they weren't plants. But second, and this is important, what if they were? Does that mean that the stuff they pointed out was not in there? That's the problem, people. The thing is, they were telling the truth. Page so-and-so of the Obamacare says this was facts. They were speaking facts, speaking the truth. And when they couldn't have an answer for it, oh, you're just a bunch of planted, Nazi, ignorant dumbasses. Well, everybody started jumping on that bandwagon and forgetting that the original point was they were voting on something they had no idea what was in it. And look at all you people that just forgot about that. You didn't even think that. You missed that point of the whole thing. And that's the important part. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, if they're voting on anything, and they obviously don't know what's in it, and you know, show them up at it, that's a big problem. That should anger and concern everyone, no matter what side you're on. So, I'm just trying to let everybody know, why don't you look at every situation and apply a little common sense and act like, see how equal it is, see how much more free one person is to another. But then decide whether or not that you really want to live in a country where only people that agree with you have freedoms. Because before long, somebody else is going to disagree with you. Nobody agrees with anybody else on 100% of things. So right now, if you're okay with the stuff they're trying to do, before long they're going to get on stuff you believe in and take that freedom away. We've got to draw a line somewhere. I'm telling you people, if we don't draw a line somewhere, I shudder to think. It's been a slow process that they've been working on for a long time, and I don't think in our lifetime we'll actually see the full effects, but it's coming. I feel sorry for babies being born now, what the world's going to be like when they grow up if something don't change. And I'm really hoping people will wise up and turn the direction back the way it needs to be. We became the greatest country in the world. Yeah, I ain't scared to say it. I don't think there's nothing wrong with being proud. I ain't saying every other country's bad. There's other great countries out there. I'm just saying that we became the greatest country to be in. Total freedom. Look at how many people's trying to get into the country as opposed to how many people's trying to leave it. Even the people bitching about this country and acting like they're so guilt-ridden about the way we are, they ain't leaving. They're sitting right here reaping all the freedom that people have. But we became that great in 200 years. And when you look at the History Channel and all the ancient history of Chinese civilizations and ancient Egypt stuff, how long they've been around. Look at how long America's a baby. And look how great we became. And now they're trying to change. They're trying to act like everything that this country was based on for these first 200 years of existence was wrong. Well, if it was so wrong, how come it worked? You know? And when you start taking it away, look at the countries that have been the way they're trying to get us to be. They all fail. Those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. And the arrogant, pretentious rascals up yonder think that they can do things that have failed before. Even Ted Kennedy mentioned it at one time. And socialism didn't work because he wasn't there to run it. So, that pretty much sums it up in a nutshell. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off. I'll be putting some more rants and raves up here before too long because I just got to get it out of my system whether anybody sees it or not.